Hey, this is Meridith Elliott Powell. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning, and I am here with my co-host, Mark Hunter. It is time for Sales Logic. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. And hey, we're streaming on both your networks and my network. So it's a bigger show, bigger audience this morning. Love it.
Yeah. And, for a lot of people, this is early, but you've already been hard at work. You've already had a coaching client, and you are out of the gate strong.
Yeah, but normally you're the one, because it seems like, by the time we get you on the call, you've always done. Hey, and I've worked out also. So I just want you to know that. Yeah.
Good start. Well, I am going to go ahead and start our video, start the show, because we've got some good stuff to talk about this morning. And I know by the time we come back, we'll start those comments in the chat, and we will dive into what you need to do to sell more effectively in today's marketplace.
Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
And it is Sales Logic. Again, I'm Meridith Elliott Powell, 9 a.m. Eastern, a Saturday morning. Time for Sales Logic. Here with my co-host, Mark Hunter. Mark, we have an active chat already this morning. And since we've got a big show, I'm just going to quick do the overview of how the show works. And then why don't you go ahead and dive right into what we're going to cover.
Let's go.
Sound good?
Go.
All right. Every week, 9 a.m. Saturday mornings, unless I screw the schedule up, which is usually me, Mark and I come to you with one of our favorite topics on sales. We start the show every week with our favorite part of the show, and that is a question from you. We've got a hot topic that we are going to invite you to engage into. We've got a book that we recommend. And just so we ensure you get return on investment, we leave you with a lightning round. So, Mark, I am super excited because the chat is on fire. I want to know what is on topic for today, and let's kick off with a question.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people that have woken up very early on a Saturday morning because the chat is active. Hey, the topic today: how to upskill your sales team. Upskill. Now think about this. This is upskills. We're going to dive deep into that. But let's first get into the question. The question comes to us today from Santiago in Chile, or excuse me, he's in Portugal. And he says, I need to hire 3 new salespeople this quarter. We're growing so fast. Salespeople are hard to find, even harder to onboard. Any tips or ideas? This is the exact question I got this last week from 2 other people. So
how did you answer it?
Do a better job of holding on to what you got.
No kidding, right?
I mean, here's the situation. Salespeople, great salespeople, have always been in high demand. It's always been difficult. And this is one of the challenges you have to do. You have to be continually looking for new salespeople.
Yeah.
Don't hire the position, you hire the person. This is one of the challenges that I think so many people get wrong, is that they hire the position. No, okay, this salesperson has come from this industry, got this experience, this book of business. No, I want to hire the person. That's how I actually reduce my turnover. But here's the whole thing. The best way to hire people is by being reflective of who you are as the best sales manager, sales leader out there that people want to come to work for.
I think, Mark, I think you are spot on. Number one, any really good salesperson has a job. They're not looking. I mean, now let me take that back. They may be looking. They may not be 100% satisfied in their role, but they're so busy selling, they're not actively engaging and looking for other opportunities. So if you want to hire 3 salespeople this year, if you want to hire 1 salesperson this year, start to pay attention to the really good salespeople selling to you. You're going to need to recruit and actively recruit. I think it's like getting a really good customer. I mean, any customer who comes to you like that, You think that's great, but the truth is they're probably just going to leave you just like that. So you're looking for people that you're going to have to win over. You also, Santiago, I really want to encourage you to take a temperature check on your sales culture. Are your current salespeople happy? Are your current salespeople effective? Have you dotted your I's and crossed your T's as a sales leader? Because any really good salesperson is not going to want to come to work in an environment that isn't good, where they're not going to join a winning team.
Which means also that a good salesperson is going to know another good salesperson. So if you've got strong people in your organization, you want to set up that referral process where, hey, they can refer somebody else into you. Because again, think about who people want to go to work for. People want to go to work for people where they know other people are being treated well. That's where it comes down to. Hey, here's something else I want to come back to. Don't think you're going to find your best salespeople by going out on various job bulletin boards, by going out on various things. No, you're not. You're going to find your best salespeople by just talking, networking, communicating. This is why I think you as a sales leader have to be active in your sales community circles in really understanding people. Man, I can't believe the chat. I mean, the chat is just absolutely blowing up out there, including the one person who says our names are reversed. I don't know if you noticed that. Did you notice that?
I did notice some.
But you know what? I could care less. I think they can figure out who's Meridith and who's Mark. So anyway.
Yeah, I think we can figure that much out. So Patrick, great comment. Hire for commitment and attitude, hire for integrity, because this type of salesperson just attracts great dream customers. So true. It kind of goes with what we were talking about with Santiago. Do a check of your culture. Pay attention. Like, have you rooted your values? Do you know who you're hiring for? Like years ago, when I worked in a bank, and in fact, I got to work with Jack Hubbard, who's joining us this morning. Long before he started consulting for our institution, I made more than a few sales mistakes. And one of the things that I did I would hire people who were great telemarketers, or people that were great at convincing people to go on those. I forget what you call them now, but people who go and they'll get a toaster if they go tour a condo or something like that. And those people were so driven by the incentive, they would do anything to get the incentive. I wasn't looking for salespeople who would do anything to get the incentive. I didn't want a product sold. I wanted the right product sold, and I wanted relationships sold. So not that that's wrong. If I were running a telemarketing company, I might be looking for salespeople like that. So you need to know what type of environment and what type of salesperson you're looking for, and bring that right person into your culture.
Oh, so spot on. And there's a lot that you said there. I don't want necessarily to hire people who want to sell the product. I want to hire people who sell the outcome, sell the result. In other words, it's because they're looking to create the relationship with the customer. This isn't customer service. This is selling. It's about creating incremental opportunities. But I create incremental opportunities by being able to understand the customer at a deeper level and understand really what is it that they're looking for. Man, I can't believe the chat. The chat line is just on fire. So, we could go for an hour just having chat. No, that would be Clubhouse. We don't want to do that. Anyway.
Yeah, I love Mattel. Mattel, maybe I did hire a sales snake. Let me tell you, the hardest part about it was because I had hired wrong. She kept winning all of our incentive programs. She was killing it. And I ended up having to let her go because she didn't match our values. She was alienating customers. Mark, I want to go ahead and get Bryn's comment in here. If you want to go ahead and read it, because Bryn is such good timing, because I was just about to refer something to you. So I'll follow up after Mark jumps in.
Bryn is so smart. She says, love this. Recruiting is so much like sales. Networking to find the right candidates is essential. Consider using LinkedIn to search your networking partners' connections and see if they know folks they can introduce you to. See, spot on. See, it's all about the networking out there. Yeah, that's how you find your good candidates. That's how you find your good people, because good people associate with good people. So Bryn, you are spot on there with that. Hey, I want to come back to a comment you made that you had to terminate that person. Too many salespeople view sales as if they're in a bowling alley and the customers are bowling pins, and the objective is just to knock them down, take their money and run. And that is the last person you want to hire, especially in today's marketplace, because today's marketplace is all about creating sustainable relationships that I can continue to build on forever and ever on that.
Yeah. Bryn, I was just about to bring you up. If you all don't know Bryn, and I seriously doubt you don't know Bryn, but she is basically the social selling guru out here. So glad to have her on here this morning. But here is what Bryn is focused on, and what I was just about to bring up about Bryn, because she really understands this, is go to the social networks and see what the salespeople you are interviewing are putting out there on social media. Number one, if there isn't out there much on social media, they are not salespeople who are keeping up with the times. Just did a presentation last week in Las Vegas, and I was talking to the sales group about the fact that in today's marketplace, the sales starts without you. I mean, it starts because people are educating and Googling themselves Googling for information. They're also Googling you. I mean, the moment that I call Mark and Mark agrees to have a sales call with me, most likely Mark is going to Google a little bit about me. And whatever pops up says volumes about it. Worst is nothing pops up, or things that you're not in alignment. I Googled somebody the other day who was going to call on me, and on his LinkedIn profile, he had a picture of he and his wife, obviously at a wedding. Not a bad photo, but that belonged on Facebook. It didn't belong on LinkedIn. I mean, Bryn can tell you volumes about this, but you really need to be, Santiago, hire from a place of power. Be proactive, like Mark told you to be proactive. Use the networking tips, know your values, and then make sure that those people are in alignment. You only want to hire once. And Bryn's right. Social has made vetting so much easier. Bryn,
hey, we got to call out Chris there. Bryn is a rock star. Of course she is. Of course she is a rock star. Hey, let's jump over to the topic there. How to upskill your sales team. And I'm going to jump in right here for one thing. First of all, you got to create a culture of 24/7 learning. Your people have to be in a mindset. And one of the things that I challenge every sales leader is let your sales team know, what book are you reading? You know, it's one of the reasons we highlight a book each week, because we think you really need to be reading to learn. And I tell sales leaders, what book are you reading? And it's amazing the number of sales leaders I talk to. Oh, I haven't read a sales book in years. Oh, give me a break. How are you going to upskill your sales team if you're not upskilling yourself?
Yeah, such a great point. Let's talk a moment about why you even need to upskill your sales team. Gartner just released a while ago, actually, a really good statistic that we all need to be paying attention to. And that in today's marketplace, the sale has gone from about 4 decision makers needing to be engaged and involved in it to up until 11 decision makers. And if there are going to be 11 decision makers that you need to get active and you need to get engaged, well, the sales strategies that you used last year, last quarter even, are not going to be enough to really make you successful in today's marketplace. So kind of like Mark just said, putting your team in the thought process that it's never good enough. Like, we're always going to be looking for consistent improvement. Mark, I sort of wanted to talk about what are some of the skills that you think you need to upgrade? Like, what are some things that you need to upskill?
Well, 2 things you always need to upscale is your communication skills in terms of the questions that you're asking. Questions that worked 25 years ago don't work today. We have to be continually. And so what does that mean? We have to upscale our questioning based on the knowledge that we know about the industry. So one of the things that I always say is I have to be able to understand my customers better downstream and upstream. What does that allow me to do? It allows me to ask better questions. It allows me to listen better. The other piece that you have to upskill is discipline and focus. I'll tell you what, I am singing this song a lot this year in terms of discipline and focus. The top performing salespeople, top performing sales teams are incredibly disciplined and focused. And oh, guess what? That means you as a sales leader had better be disciplined and focused too.
Yeah. Well, maybe starting right there too, and making sure just how much a role model you are. I think one of the things that you have got to focus on is something we have all heard a million times before. It reminds me of, I first started talking about relationship selling back in the 80s, and we're still trying to conquer that term. But you need to begin by really aligning. More than aligning, you need to integrate your marketing and your sales teams. That's probably the place where you need to start with upscaling the sales team. What is marketing's role going to be in the sales process? And what is sales role going to be? And how are they going to work together? And then how are you going to force that integration? Told you at the start of this that the sales starts without you. Add to that, you no longer control the buying cycle. I can buy whatever I want to, wherever I want to, whenever I want to. I can even buy it without you. So if the messaging isn't right, if it isn't in the line of fire of the target market, then your sales team is going to struggle. So what is marketing's role there? Marketing also has a really strong role in the follow-up, in ensuring that you remain visible with existing customers. And the reason is partly because of what Mark said. I mean, salespeople have to be disciplined. The value that salespeople bring is you're the only one who can get in front of the customer and establish that relationship and really dig for the information we need to not only close the sale, but close multiple sales. So what are we doing to keep you front and center as much as we can keep you front and center and get all those other things off of you?
Well, and the same thing, not only marketing, but it's customer service too.
Yeah.
Because again, one of the things that I say from a sales standpoint is being extremely laser focused on the selling aspect. I love these comments. Mark had a great comment, not this Mark, but a different Mark on me selling the outcomes versus the product. Patrick Tinney is jumping in, becoming a customer of your customer. Spot on. Jack is chiming in here. We got some outside. See, here's the whole thing. If we are not continuously asking ourselves, how do we upskill our sales team? How do we upskill ourselves? We are going to fall behind. You know, one of the things that I find very interesting is over the last 5 years, maybe 7 years now, Chorus and Gong, two platforms that record telephone calls. And it's amazing. 5 to 10 years ago, this was really only done in telemarketing shops where, phone calls were recorded and listened to. Now, because of Gong and Chorus, you have the ability, and the really smart teams, it's the salespeople are listening to their own calls. They're listening and they're evaluating. You see, again, it comes back to, I want to create this 24/7 learning culture where I'm continuously looking to improve myself. Wow. Hey, time is really running by fast. Man, comments just keep flowing in here. Hey, we apologize to you if we can't get everybody's comments up there because they're literally just streaming in so fast across all of the different platforms we're on, which is absolutely outstanding. But let's jump into the book. You got a copy of the book. We are highlighting a book from Jeb Blunt. You have that right there, but hold it up there. His book, Inked. If you haven't read it, in fact, I just got wind Jeb is writing a new book.
Yeah.
I won't tease the title, but it's coming. It's coming because again, Jeb can't go a year without coming out with at least one new book.
With at least one, if not two.
Yeah.
But if you haven't read Inked, this is a really great book. Talk about upskilling. It's all about closing, which is getting. And true to Jeb's form, he starts the close of the sale, really long before you get to that. But there are really good techniques in here for a team to get in there and understand, how to close sales. Mark, I just have to comment. The reason I've left Jack's comment up here is because I really want to comment on upskilling your team around virtual. And the reason is because what you did with virtual last year is not going to be good enough this year. The expectations have gone up of what your customers are looking at. And so really want to dive in there. Patrick had a comment about Inked was inspired by unlocking. Yes. I don't don't know that I have read Unlocking Yes, but great title for a book. But if your team needs help on closing, if you're getting yourself to the edge of that sale, but you're not pushing it over, then really encourage you to, as Mark said, read this as a sales leader, but read it as a group.
And the joke I shared with Jeb this week in a text, I said, Jeb, the Library of Congress is building Jeb's wing because of the number of books that he's
quite prolific. Next week we are going to highlight a friend of ours, Andy Powell. If you all don't listen to his podcast, it's phenomenal. He's got a brand new book coming out. The pre-launch was this week. We're going to be highlighting that book next week and really talking a little bit more about it.
Okay, lightning round. Hand on the buzzer. And before we get to the lightning round, we should tell, hey, if you haven't talked to us about getting into our mastermind group for this year, pop Meridith a note, pop myself a note. We've had a number of people inquiring about it, getting signed up for it. This is really an accountability program that you get into with Meridith and myself, and we're going to guide you through to a very successful year. So I want to encourage you. It's still very, very early. We don't even have the landing page up yet. But it's $69 a month, $597 for the year. We want you involved in. But anyway, lightning round. Top qualities of successful salespeople. What to look for and what to avoid. Good.
Number one, I think that what you want to look for is somebody who is curious and somebody who loves to learn.
A servant attitude. Are they willing to help others?
Yeah. Somebody who is outgoing, who enjoys networking and connecting with people. Somebody who is excited genuinely about taking an interest in and learning with other people.
Ask them to look at their calendar. Do they have meetings with themselves? How disciplined are they in terms of how they use their time?
Well, I would say that you want somebody, I'm going to do one to avoid. One of the biggest things I've learned when in hiring salespeople, I've always asked, tell me about your perfect day. If I were going to allow you to do anything at work, what would it be? I've never gotten anybody who enjoys being in the office to go out of the office. And I've never gotten anybody who enjoys being out of the office want to stay in. So if you want a good salesperson, look for somebody who likes to be out of the office and doesn't really like the details.
Ask them to share a story. If the story is about them, I'm not interested. If the story is about a team, I'm interested. Yeah. Great, successful salespeople are team players.
Look for somebody who's a natural networker, somebody who you hear their name everywhere. If you were to walk down your proverbial street, whether that's local or whether that's global, and you ask for one of the somebody I should get to know or somebody should I meet, does their name consistently come up?
Yeah. Do they demonstrate courtesy and respect? That's why I love taking people out for a cup of coffee. I want to just see how do they even open the door? How do they treat the barista? It's amazing. Courtesy and respect goes a long ways.
Yeah. I would say somebody that is interviewing you as hard as you are interviewing them, that they understand that, they're trying to look for the right fit as much as you are trying to look for the right fit.
Did they do the homework on you and your company before the interview? If they show up, tell me a little bit about what you guys do here. I'm not interested, because the interview is just like a sales call.
Yeah. What's their experience and what's their history? How much have they not only blown the goals in front of them, but helped their team to exceed their goals?
Hey, I'll share one more. You share one more. We'll close it down. Ask them what their 5, 10, and 25-year goals are. Because if they're not willing to think long-term, I'm not interested.
Yeah. Look for somebody who sees the glass half full instead of half empty. Go back into their challenges and how did they turn those challenges into opportunities. If they can't spiral up, if they spiral down, not your person. All right, Mark.
I love it. Hey, absolutely terrific show. Again, Sales Logic this year is taking on some new levels of participation. One, of course, is the mastermind group. We're coming out with some additional things throughout the year, so we really want to encourage you to stay engaged. But hey, right now, I want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend about our show. It's how we grow to help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
You all have been amazing today. Cannot thank you enough. Join us right here again next Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. If you have a question, a topic you want us to cover, reach out at saleslogicpodcast.com. Inquire about the mastermind there, and we will see you next week. Until then, sell effectively, hit your goals, and turn your customers into champions. We'll see you next week.